It has been 30 years since we first hit South Africa's TV screens, highlighting the balance between humans and nature and aiding in making wildlife, conservation, and the environment top of mind for many a South African. For 3 decades, we have been hard-hitting, powerful, informative.
If we keep trying to find a single solution to very complex problems, we'll constantly be lost.
Relevant.
It takes 1 liter of a hydrocarbon to pollute 1 million liters of water.
Entertaining. Compelling. And educational.
So many young people said, "You've compromised our future, you adults. There's nothing we can do about it."
South Africa has a beautiful landscape, an abundance of wildlife and rich biodiversity. For 30 years, 50/50 has been the platform on which we recognize and celebrate that. We are the longest-running TV show of its kind in the world, bringing viewers enlightening programming and showcasing the splendor of nature.
The dominant male clearly shows who is boss, and the female can only lick her wounds, as the young lion will have to spend time on his own until he can fight for his own territory.
For 30 years, we have recognized that humans are also part of the environment, and we have often put the spotlight on the human part of the balancing act.
On a morning early in June this year, just as Soweto was shaking off the cold of the night before, Orlando East residents made a grisly discovery. The killing in a township shack is one of 3 rodent-related deaths in the past 2 months. In Khayelitsha outside Cape Town, a 3-year-old baby girl was gnawed to death in her sleep. And in Alexandra, north of Johannesburg, a 79-year-old man was found dead in his makeshift home. Being creatures of the night, it's after the sun goes down that the rats come out to play and feast, and they come out in their hundreds.
Along the way, we have met many unintentional conservationists.
To me, it looks like they're relocating sometimes. I mean, I wouldn't know.
I actually feel sorry for them as well, because they're also trying to make a living.
Who are the personalities behind the jam-packed trolleys that plague us in the traffic?
We have brought to the fore the consequences of humans and nature battling for habitat.
One of the ladies here left her car parked for a period of time. She came back and the car was completely destroyed by dassies that had moved into the car.
We have highlighted the challenges of protecting our environment while considering the livelihoods of our people.
It's unsafe for those people to work in landfills. It makes operations on the landfill very, very difficult. If I don't have food on the table for my kids or for my family, and there's a way in which I can provide for them, whether that way means that I must go and reclaim waste at a landfill, I will do it.
And we have discovered ways in which conservation can aid the healing of wounded communities.
My background is coming from the poor family, so many people did help me as well. So when we're talking about community upliftment, it means a lot to me.
In looking after our fellow citizens, we have placed emphasis on the nation's inhabitants who need our protection the most, those who cannot speak for themselves.
When we have our rhinos killed every 20 hours, we need to put up a fight.
A tragedy of enormous consequences.
That is why I have devoted my life to it.
Again,
it is a situation where South Africa could hold its head high.
I mean, we're fighting a war.
So the only way we can take on poaching is take it on as a war effort. So, you know, fight it on the ground.
The more you get to know rhino, their personalities, what incredible animals they are, you get very attached and very driven by that.
We have asked some difficult questions.
How high is the price that crocodiles pay for high fashion? Do we know enough about the farming of our handbags and shoes?
All the crocs are in the corner. The temperature is very, very low for an indoor structure. This is 3 years. Yes. No, my friend, you got a big problem. When you compare standards in South Africa, and there are a lot of dodgy farms like this.
How is the controversial practice of culling seals allowed to resume in Namibia year after year? Is job creation and the protection of the fishing industry enough to justify it?
It's an horrendously cruel activity.
For 30 years, 50/50 has considered the impact that our growth as a human race may have on the environment, informing our viewers of potential threats to our natural heritage.
Every single village in the Karoo is dependent on underground water. If the fracking process goes wrong, we will lose the entire community.
So it's an amazing opportunity, especially in an environment where all of us are concerned about the security of energy supplies in general.
The reasons why Mapungubwe is this special and this important. Mapungubwe is the first Southern African kingdom, meaning this is exactly where kingdomship started in Southern Africa.
A great variety of migratory birds that move into the Mapungubwe area, and a lot of those come in at night, and the light pollution is really going to affect their bearings, and the other problem would be the birds, the nocturnal birds that roost on the road itself.
For 3 decades, we have helped our viewers understand just how precious our natural resources are.
If that pumping station is lost, it is literally the last safety mechanism between the rising tide of toxic water, radioactive water, and an environmental catastrophe in South Africa, the magnitude of which South Africa has not yet seen before.
Yes, we're definitely going on with the criminal charges. We have to do it. That's the first intervention. But that's not solving the problem. To solve the problem is the mines must really now come to the party.
In the 30 years that 50/50 has been on air, we have understood that a global crisis is also our crisis, and so we have not ignored our conservation issues around the world.
Turtles are one of the most endangered animals in the world right now.
Because there is no business, and there is the people who don't have money to feed the horses or to give them tablets or something like this.
Conditions were barbaric. Hold on. They were alone. It was shocking, absolutely shocking. And I've seen things in South Africa, but nothing compared to that. Nothing.
It has been 30 years of celebrating environmental heroes who have brought their passion onto our show.
The most important thing for everybody watching, think a little bit about the consequences of the choices you make each day.
My name is David Attenborough, and I'm about to appear on a program called 50/50. Indeed, it's not unreasonable to think that maybe in 10 years' time, you wouldn't be able to see the things that we we were able to see last year. The natural world is of deep fascination. It's beautiful, it's unpredictable, it's dramatic, it's exciting, it's important, it means something to us all.
One can't help but be proud to be a part of 50/50. To have had a program that is on television for so long says a lot about the kind of show that 50/50 is and the kind of people that have looked after this program over the years.
50/50, 30 years and counting. Because we need to know.
Okay, guys, what's next?